Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. Election grief. Psychiatrist says emotional reactions to political loss should not be dismissed. Caricom election observation mission praises Jamaica electoral process and also makes recommendations. And later in sports, Reggae Boys play away to Bermuda in CONCACAF World Cup qualifying this afternoon. Thank you for joining us. I'm Carrie Simpson. Here are the details. As the losers in the general election contemplate what's next, psychiatrist at the University of the West Indies, Wendell Abel, says election grief is a real emotional response that some people experience after an election loss. Speaking on the Morning Agenda Friday on Power 106, Dr. Abel explained that disappointment, sadness, and even anger are common reactions for supporters when their preferred candidate or party loses. When asked if some might see the idea of election grief as minor, Dr. Abel stressed that emotional reactions to political loss are natural and should not be dismissed.
Just feel your feelings and just give yourself permission to grieve. Don't suppress it. It's okay and it's normal to be feeling whatever way you're feeling this way, the disappointment, the anger, the sense of betrayal, the depression, right? And just remind yourself that it's okay to be not okay sometimes.
The Caricom election observation mission has praised Jamaica for its smooth and orderly conduct of the September 3 general election. Antonia Atkinson has the details.
An 11-member team from the Caricom Election Observation Mission was invited by the Electoral Commission of Jamaica (ECJ) to observe the process and provide an independent, credible assessment. The mission noted that the polls were free of voter intimidation or harassment. Speaking at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel on Thursday, Mission Chief for Narcissus says the election ran smoothly, where she noted that the contingency plans were effective wherever issues arose.
Jamaica is leading the region in a number of reforms, particularly in relation to registration of political parties and campaign financing.
Narcissus also commended the ECJ Center for its role as a central hub for the nationwide monitoring and fast issue resolution.
The introduction of the EVIS machine as well, we were aware of that, and so we were keen to look at that and see how that would have operated on poll day. And of course, the election center, something else that is quite attractive to a number of other Caribbean countries in terms of how that operates. So there are a number of features in your process that quite highly commendable and they work very well, and certainly we were all very excited to see those types of organizations and how they operated.
She added that a full report, including recommendations to strengthen the electoral system, will be submitted to Caricom Secretary General Dr. Carla Barnett before being released to the public. Antonia Atkinson, TVJ News.
In the meantime, the Organization of American States, OAS Observer Mission, has recommended strengthening the electoral system to ensure more effective governance of the process. This suggestion was presented in the mission's preliminary report following the September 3 election. Among the key recommendations is the implementation of a revised method for enumerating eligible voters. With voter turnout at 39.5%, Chief of Mission Dr. Kenny Anthony had some concerns.
In the administration of elections in Jamaica is admirable. Nevertheless, the mission notes that this confidence and trust does not appear to translate to higher rates of citizen participation in the elections. This outcome fell below the expectations of citizens and stakeholders.
The OAS mission believes conducting a comprehensive review of the voters list is needed to evaluate whether a more frequent updating process is necessary. It is also recommending the creation of formal information sharing mechanisms. This is through institutional agreements and coordination with the relevant authorities to support the ongoing maintenance of the voters list. Director of Elections Glasspool Brown admits more needs to be done to ensure access to persons with disabilities on election day. He was speaking on Beyond the Headlines Thursday. Persons in the disabled community continue to express frustration about the lack of provisions at a number of polling stations.
We are not there yet in terms of properly accommodating everybody. Got the number of sites that we have in terms of putting in for cover sheet tents and so on to cover persons who require to some sort of shade as they wait in the line. We're not there yet. We're seeking to get those in. From our location, we're able to get extra classrooms or extra covering for some, but it's very limited. It's something that we're exploring, certainly going forward in terms of how best we can assist the process.
JLP officials have hailed the record number of women from both sides who will be in Gordon House. A total of 19 women will be elected, 11 from the JLP and 8 from the PNP.
It's a very big thing for the women of Jamaica. It is important that women's voices are heard. And I know that on this side we have emphasized women and encouraging women to be a part of this political process. And we're very happy to see that number. I'm also very happy to see some of our young women again back in the Parliament.
Over in Southeast St. Mary, the official recount has resumed at the Anata Bay Infant and Primary School. The People's National Party's Chris Brown edged the JLP's Norman Dunn by 11 votes. Mr. Brown's supporters are, however, hoping that the results will remain in the PNP column.
I expect it to advance, so even 15 or 20 still. Because we know we must get a few more ballots with them say spoil. I expect that. Yeah, man, I expect Chris Brown now can't lose again. Can't lose again. It's a solid thing. We more for gain more, right no more and lose any more.
Following his win on Wednesday, MP-elect for St. Thomas Western James Robertson and his supporters held a motorcade in the constituency. He defeated the People's National Party's Hubert Williams with 9,200 says while St. Thomas Western has benefited from well-needed infrastructural improvements over the last 10 years, the work continues.
We have 7 bridges to be built this year under procurement, funded, financed. When that is complete, the farmers, the investment in ecotourism is going to be driven. In November last year, the number I got from the Prime Minister was 4,000 housing solutions. 9 months later, St. Thomas is now boasting 8,000 housing solutions.
To other news, a White House taxi operator is facing charges after he allegedly hit a 23-year-old Westmoreland hotel worker from his motorcycle along the Belmont Main Road on Thursday. The deceased has been identified as Dale Johnson, otherwise called Delano, a bartender employed to Sandal South Coast. Reports are that Johnson was driving his motorcycle in the direction of White House when a Toyota Voxy operating as a taxi heading in the opposite direction attempted to cross the road to pick up passengers when he collided with Johnson. Johnson was flung from his motorcycle onto the asphalt, sustaining head injuries. He died on the scene. Now, according to police sources, charges will be laid against the driver pending statements from eyewitnesses. Johnson is the second male to have been killed along the Belmont Main Road in less than a week. On Sunday, 20-year-old Teron Myrie died after he collided with a Mitsubishi. It is now time for a break. Stay with us. More stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. The Jamaica Labour Party says the process to review its performance in the just concluded election has already begun. The party held a press briefing yesterday.
Despite winning Wednesday's general election, members of the JLP campaign committee say it intends to review closely what went wrong in the seats it lost. The party won 34 seats, this from the 49 in the 2020 election, which means it lost 15 seats. Of note, 13 sitting MPs were voted out.
The fact that we conceded through the ballot box some seats until the official numbers are announced, we will know exactly how many, is a reality that we have more work to do. And if we approach it in that way, then I think we will always keep connected, because that's always our objective. And so nothing is going to be taken for granted.
But it is felt in parishes like Westmoreland and Hanover, which traditionally votes PNP. The JLP doesn't stand much of a chance to regain control of the constituencies in those parishes which it won in the 2020 election. But for Dr. Tufton,
there are some traditional seats that have been based on historical voter pattern that have been more supportive of one party over the next, the PNP in this case, based on your question. And we understand the challenges with those seats, and we approach them in a way to give a voice to what we represent, what we have done, what we plan to do. But everybody has their democratic right to express themselves, and we just have to keep prodding at it.
And in constituencies where some JLP MPs regained their seats, many voters stayed away. Part of the reason being the MPs are oftentimes not seen except during election time. Dr. Tufton admitted it is difficult to balance, but there are support systems.
It's a lot of work, and I think we have to face that reality. The hours are long, and if you want to do a good job, you have to keep putting the hours. You work with a team, so it's not a one-man event. The team extends to the constituency, to the portfolio, to the cabinet, where the decisions are made and shared by the Prime Minister. The truth is that the system works to the extent that the confidence in you is renewed at the end of a 5-year period. To the extent that it is not, then it's cause for recalibration.
In the meantime, party officials say the JLP continues the process of recruitment to complement the team.
We have many affiliates. We have the Young Jamaica, we have G2K, we have the Women's Movement, we have new recruits. The Prime Minister has been on record. And if you look at his trajectory over the last 9 years, there are many persons who are not among us, or certainly visibly among us, at the level of cabinet ministers, senators that have come on board out of their conviction, willingness to serve, and the party's willingness to accept them, because that's how new ideas evolve.
Nakinski Robinson, TVJ News.
It's now time for the Business Minute.
The Jamaica Broilers Group has reported unaudited net profits of $1.74 billion on revenues of $26 billion for the first quarter of its 2025-2026 financial year. But directors say the company is still unable to present its audited financial statements due to complex accounting issues in its U.S. operations. The group expects to resolve the matter by September 30. President and CEO Christopher Levy says the audited financials for Jamaica are complete, but the consolidated results remain on hold due to errors in U.S. balance sheet items, particularly biological assets. Further afield, Spirit Airlines is discontinuing 11 of its routes serving U.S. cities. The move comes as the carrier works to reorganize to deal with financial difficulties, including 2 bankruptcy filings in under a year. The soon-to-be cancelled routes include those servicing Albuquerque, New Mexico, Portland, Oregon, San Diego, California, and Chattanooga, Tennessee. The 11 routes will be permanently suspended on October 2. In a statement, Spirit apologized for the inconvenience to customers and said it would contact those with reservations about options. Spirit filed for bankruptcy protection at the end of August, less than a year after previously filing in November. And that's it for the Business Minute.
Time now for the top regional and international stories.
In the region, Caribbean Airlines has suspended flights between Trinidad and Caracas, Venezuela, for the rest of this month. Several flights were scheduled for September 6, 13, 20, and 27 between the two countries. Caribbean Airlines says passengers who are already booked on flight services are being contacted and may rebook without any change in fees, subject to certain conditions. It says customers booked on the affected flights who prefer to apply for a refund on their tickets may do so via the Caribbean Airlines Reservations Call Center, a Caribbean Airlines ticket office, or travel agents. On the international scene, the UK's Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner has resigned after admitting to underpaying stamp duty on her £800,000 flat in Hove. An ethics report found she breached the ministerial code and ignored legal advice. Rayner took full responsibility in her resignation letter. Prime Minister Keir Starmer expressed sadness at her departure, calling her a major figure in the party. Now a government reshuffle is now underway. And those were the top regional and international stories. I'm Shane Masters.
And we head to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have your midday sports report.